Hello. Oh, you know, the internet is just chocked full of all of this social media advice. There's like all kinds of social media tips and tricks that we find, on Instagram, on Facebook posts, these downloadables with 365 social media prompts, complicated marketing plans, programs to create graphics, things that generate SEO friendly content, and all of this advice about making posts that are just right. And to be honest, sometimes it's a little overwhelming. So, today, what we're going to do is we are going to talk about how we can ditch the overly complicated social media plan so that you can let go of the overwhelm and so that you can create content in a way that feels good to you and in a way that serves your studio best. So, welcome to this week's broadcast. If you are new here, please be sure to say new and let me know where you're tuning in from. If you are one of our regular weekly broadcast attendees, welcome, and please be sure to say hello. I'm so glad that you're here today. My name is Sara Campbell, and I am a business strategist, mindset, and marketing coach for music studio owners, online education experts just like yourself. And every week I go live here where we talk about those topics. And this week we're going to be diving into marketing and social media and how we can do this stuff in a way that feels good, in a way that ditches the overwhelm and ditches the complicated, and that gives you choices about how you interact with social media and how your studio interacts with it as well. Good morning, Laura. Nice to see you there. If you're tuning in, please be sure to say hello. And let's get to it. Couple little housekeeping things today. First, we love to learn out loud. So whether you are joining me live or if you're watching this later on the replay, please be sure to give us your takeaways. What are the things that are most valuable to you? We love to learn together so that once teachers are coming back and watching this on Facebook or watching it on YouTube, they can see your takeaways and they can learn from you and me together. All right. Hey there, June. Nice to see you. Good morning, Kim. Nice to see you as well. So the topic, right, is how to ditch the complicated social media plan, because I know what it feels like to think that you have some type of a plan in place and then you get this new tip or you find out about this new piece of software or you find out about this new platform or something. And after a while, as we're like grabbing all these ideas, and I'm like one of those people that likes to grab all the ideas, after we've like collected all of these things, it can feel really overwhelming and complicated to get our stuff out. And when we find ourselves in that overwhelmed space, then we are less likely to take action. And I've seen it time and time again with teacher friends of mine who have started putting together social media content and they're doing the things, they feel like they're not getting traction or they feel like they're doing too many things at once. And so you go from doing all the things to doing none of the things. And well, if you do nothing, it doesn't work really well. So how can we create social media marketing plans for our studios that reflect who we are, really who you are, not just that you are a piano teacher, but who you are as a human being? How can we fit them into our schedules in a way that feels good so that you're not always attached to your phone having to post this and that and all the other? And how can we find create a system that feels genuine to who we are and how we want to interact with social media? Because I don't know about you guys, but like I love and hate social media, right? If you love and hate social media, give me a heck yes down below, because it's great for interacting with people. It's great for creating connections. But if we aren't intentional with how we spend time on the platforms, it can feel like a super time suck. So we're trying to get rid of that time suck today. And I've got 5 tips that we're going to go over so that you can ditch the complication and the overwhelm and find something that works for you. I see a lot of yeses below. I have a yes, heck yes, heck yes, heck yes. All right. Yep. So you guys are with me here. If you have a teacher friend who could benefit from this conversation, please take just a moment and invite them to join us. That would be amazing, and I would thank you so much for doing that. All right, let's get to it, shall we? If you want to get a hold of today's show notes, I've got several things that the Savvy Sara bot is going to send you. She will send you a list of all the things that we're going over. She will also send you a graphic that I'm going to go over later in the program, and it's going to give you details about like super simple social media content plans so that like you do not have to follow these crazy prompts of like all these different things, all these different ideas where you have to generate lots and lots of content ideas. I've got a super simple step for you. All right, so drop a simplify down below, and the Savvy Sara bot will send that to you. Awesome. I see Laura's the first one to get it. Great. Okay, so let's get to the content. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. First and foremost, when you are creating a strategy around social media, one of the things that I want you to consider is the ROI of a platform. So the return on investment. Now, there are so many different platforms out there, and we're going to talk a little bit about how to select them. But one of the first step is to consider the ROI. If you are engaging a lot on a platform and it's not really working well for you, then you might be better served searching for another platform. So there can be a couple of different things that we look at when we look at the ROI. One, we have to consider like, if you're not getting a lot of engagement on a platform, or you're not getting any traction, so any like reactions, comments, that kind of stuff, one of the things that you can consider is like, is my audience actually on this platform? The people that I'm speaking to, are they here? So you ask yourself that. And if they are there and they're just not interacting, then there might be a disconnect in the way that you're writing things. There might be a disconnect with the images. So we can consider that stuff. But after you've considered all that stuff, if you're still not gaining traction on a platform, I want you to consider not using that platform. Oh my gosh, crazy, right? Now you have a couple of possibilities there. One, you could say, okay, I am bound and determined to use this platform and I'm going to figure out how to do it. So at that point, you find somebody who knows how to use that platform really well and you learn from them. Or you say, you know what? This platform doesn't seem to be working so well, but this one over here is getting a lot more traction. So I am going to concentrate my efforts on the platform that works. So consider the ROI first. I'd love to know, what is the platform that works best for your studio? So if you are using different social media platforms, take a moment and think for a second, okay, what are the ones where I get the most engagement? Which ones give me the most conversions? So are they actually allowing you to start conversations with human beings and to help them, move towards the next step, whatever that might be, whether it's joining your studio for private lessons or group lessons, or if you've got content and courses and products and things like that. So think about, where am I getting the most engagement? And then where am I getting the most conversions? Because we know that sometimes engagement does not actually convert, right? So let us know. Oh, I see that Nicole says Instagram is her fave. Awesome. I'd love to know what everybody else's is. So make sure to share that down below. And so I'll offer mine. So for me, Facebook is my platform. Although in the past 5 months, I have decided I am going to figure out how to make Instagram work. So I did a little bit of research and I thought about it, and now my Instagram is starting to convert a little bit more. So we have the choice to walk away from a platform, and that is okay. I want you to know that's okay. Consider this your permission slip. If a platform is not working for you, but another platform is, you are allowed to concentrate your efforts there. Or if you're like, you know what? I think that my audience is on this platform and I know it can work for me. I just haven't figured out how yet. Then at that point, if you have the energy and the desire, that's when you research and find out, who can I learn from that uses this platform well. Christine says Instagram as well. Nicole says that she's noticed I've been more active. Yay, on Instagram. Hey, that's cool. I'm glad you noticed that. Okay, so step number 1 is to consider the ROI of a platform. So give me an ROI below if that's something that you are going to think about in the next coming weeks. Give me an ROI. Step number 2, and this is really important. Do things that make you happy. Let me explain. If recording videos or going live gives you hives and has you like totally nervous every time you're having to record something or go live with something, you don't have to do that thing. You want to do stuff that makes you happy. Now, I know we hear all these social media tips, and I am one of the people that like tells you video is amazing, right? Video is queen. But if that gives you hives and gets you anxious, consider permission slip again that you don't have to do that. Pick things that make you happy. So if you love taking photos, or if you like making graphics, or if you love making videos, if you love making reels or TikToks or whatever, do the thing that makes you happiest. Just because you see somebody else doing something and you know that it's successful for them, don't think that you have to force yourself in and like push yourself into this box that doesn't feel comfortable to you. So figure out what is it that makes you happiest and find the happy spot, like find that nice little combination of being happy at doing something and doing something that actually works, right? So find that combination of those two things and do more of that. So if something gets you all stressed out, even though you know that there's like all these social media coaches that are saying, you need to do this, you need to do that, and it has you not feeling good, permission granted, you do not have to do that thing. And if you are like, okay, this thing just doesn't make me feel good right now, because there's a difference between feeling like unfamiliar and uncomfortable. I had a great conversation with Meredith Colby. She's the owner of the Neurovocal Method, and we were having a conversation during a lesson that I was taking with her, and we were talking about the difference between being uncomfortable with something and being unfamiliar with something. So if you're just unfamiliar with it and it just feels foreign, maybe there's time to learn if you want to, right? If you want to. So I would love to know, what are the things that make you happiest? What kind of content do you love to create? You probably guessed that I love to create live videos. It's kind of my happy space, right? But I know that it's not everybody else's happy space. Can I let you in on a little secret? I love live video, but the thought of having to record videos and make them makes me like, ugh. Because I get into this whole different mind space. And as soon as I'm starting to record a video, I start to panic and I start to judge myself. But going live, I'm like, well, it is what it is. And if I make a mistake or I flub up a word, that's okay. So do things that make you happy. Yes. Let's see. Brenda says, I've done the most with Facebook. The posts I've done in there, in addition to Google My Business, have really boosted my SEO. New clients now say that they're finding me on Google. Congratulations, Brenda. That's fantastic. Leanne says that her happy space is graphics. Yeah, my new happy space is carousels. And my amazing virtual assistant, Jeffrey, is like really awesome at putting carousels together, and then we like work them back and forth on Canva, and I love carousels now. Didn't think I was gonna like that. Yeah, sure. So Laura, great question. Could you define conversion within social media context? So a conversion is where the stuff that you are putting out there results in you having a human conversation with somebody, whether it's via messenger or they're like calling you because you have calls to action on your socials, and you are landing a client. Or the conversion could be that you have somebody purchase a course or a product that you sell. So that's what we're talking about when we're talking about conversions. Now, conversions that come from social media, side note, I should just say, sometimes that's a slow roll. It takes people a while to know, like, and trust you, right? KLT factor that we talk about here. So just because you don't get a conversion on a post that has an offer in it immediately, that's okay. You're still planting the seed, right? And people have to see things multiple times. So I'm really glad that you asked that. Right. See, I know that live broadcasts are not everybody's happy space. It makes you feel out of control. look at this. I finally have a new student who is actually an advanced piano, and I got her from Facebook. Way to go, Kim. That is absolutely fantastic. Okay, so we've done number 1 and number 2. Let's move on to number 3. And if anyone has questions about stuff while we're doing this, whether it's live or on the replay, like pop in with your questions because I will be happy to come back and answer them for you. All right, number 3. Create or choose a system that works. What does this look like? Now, you guys have heard me get up on my soapbox before and saying that if you really want to be successful with social media and if you want to avoid the overwhelm, you have to consider how you engage with social media. Now, there are 2 camps here, and I would love to know which camp you fall in. Are you in the camp that you want to be able to sit down and spend like an hour or an hour and a half doing all the content for like a couple weeks at a time, and then you're done? That could be one camp, right? So you want to like just do all the things at once. You want to like batch all the things, schedule all the things, and then be able to interact with social media as a human being instead of a business owner. Side note, you're still going to keep track of like all the things that's going out there, and you will like watch the comments and stuff and make sure that you're interacting with people. But you're doing most of the work all at once. That's camp number 1. If you are a camper in camp number 1, give me camp number 1 below. Camp number 2 loves to have like multiple tasks each day and likes to be able to come up with the content as you go. So you may know that, okay, at 10 a.m., that's when I sit down and I write my Facebook post or I do whatever, and I do my Instagram thing or I do my TikTok. And you like to spread out the content creation over your week. So that is camp number 2. If you are a camper in camp number 2, give me a camp number 2 below. No matter which one you choose, you want to create a system that allow to create or choose, meaning like actually using a system that somebody else has created, right? And use it in a way that's strategic. So I see, we've got a combination here. We've got camp number 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 2, and a 1. All right, awesome, excellent. So create a system that works for you. So if you are in camp number 1 and you're the person who likes to do it all at once and then, kind of like set it and forget it, except that you're not totally forgetting it. You like keep an eye on it, If you're in camp number 1, then if you haven't already, it's time to think about what does that look like in your admin time? Have you actually blocked off time in your schedule to do it on a weekly basis or bi-weekly basis? If you haven't, I encourage you to do so, or I invite you to do so. Block off some time in your schedule when you can use that system that you've created. If that's like curating the content and then batching and scheduling it, great. Then for camp number 2, if you are the person that loves to do it as you go, make your own system, right? Does that mean that like at a certain time of day you do it? Or does it mean like I'm waiting for that inspiration to strike? And just having your systems in place so that when inspiration does strike, you can like make sure that you don't forget that idea and you have the ability to post or the ability to write it down somewhere. So in your system, you might have a couple of different things. You might be using scheduling software. You can also use the like free internal scheduling software that is through, there's 2, there's content, there's Creator Studio, and then there's also Business Suite, and those integrate with both Facebook and Instagram. Or you can choose like your own, whatever scheduling software you want to use, like Tailwind or SmarterQueue or I can't remember the other ones, like CoSchedule, all of these things. You can choose to do something like that. Then you may also think about, how am I curating my content? Where does it live? I had a thought last night because now we're back in person in the studio and I'm starting to take videos and pictures again. And I remember, because our phones get clogged with photos, right? So you may take lots of photos, and then here's my like super tip of the today. I wasn't going to share this, but I'm going to. If you're taking lots of photos and documenting, as you should be, right? One of the things that you can do is on your phone, making sure that you create a folder for those photos so that you're not having to scroll like for days to find that one photo that was awesome. You're going to take that photo and then you add it into an album. And I just started, I have I have a studio album here, right? So it has some of my photos in it. And I started a new one as well, and I can't find it. I'll look at it later. But create a way for you to curate the content and find it easily, whether that's like a folder on your phone, or if it's a spreadsheet where you write out content ideas, or if it's shock of shocks, a journal that you write down ideas in. You pick something that works for your brain. Okay, so create and choose a system that works. I would love to know, for those who are joining us or watching this later, what systems do you have in place right now? Or if you don't have systems in place, what systems would you like to have in place? I really am curious about your answer to that question. Okay, tip number 4. Let's keep moving along. Tip number 4. Remember the 3 R's: reuse, repurpose, recycle. Okay, so it can feel stressful to always come up with new content ideas, and I totally get that. It's a lot, it takes a lot of time and effort to write post descriptions. It can take a lot of time to like make graphics and all of that stuff. And if you're constantly having to come up with new stuff every single day, then that's a lot of time on your part. I want to invite you to reuse your content and repurpose it onto different social media platforms. I know like these words, like they're not actually different. You're just going to reuse stuff. But I had to say the 3 R's because, Girl Scout and good environment stuff. So I want you to look back. Like here's a strategic way that you can do this. Like, how do you know what content that you should repurpose? You can go back and look at your insights to see like, well, how many people engaged with this? How many people engaged with that? There are really specific ways that you can do that so that you can actually see like, what are your most engaging posts? Like, what were the ones that got the most comments? What were the ones that got the most reaction? Which ones got the most saves or shares or pins? And then you're going to look at that content and go, okay, this is my top content. I'm going to share this again. So you can do that by scheduling it out. And just kind of keeping track of, okay, I share this every like 3 months or so. Because if it did well the first time, guess what? It's going to do well the next time. I remember the first time that I started repurposing content, and I was really nervous about it because I thought, okay, people have seen this before, and like they're going to remember that they've seen this before. But here's the deal. One, as social media changes and moves and you get different followers and like different people are on the platform at the time that you post the things, different people are going to see it. That's number 1. And number 2, if somebody sees it and they liked it the first time, they're going to like it the second time because they're going to be reminded of, oh yeah, that was a really cool thing. So don't be intimidated thinking that once you have this piece of content that did super duper well, you can't use it again. Use that content again. In fact, for me, I am functioning on mostly repurposed content, and then that frees up some time for me so that rather than coming up with a new post every single day, which I did for a year, don't be like me, then I can have like, let's say 70% repurposed content, 30% new content. That gives me more time and space to breathe to create better new content. So I do encourage you to reuse things that have done well. Okay, I see some good comments here. Let's get to those. Ariana says that she uses a Google Doc and she puts the graphic and the caption in there about a week at a time. That's awesome. And you have some really beautiful things that you're putting out on your Instagram account. I really like it. Nicole uses notes on her phone, and that's where she saves her ideas. And then she's looking through her pics. She has more studio stuff than of her own kids. I understand. I have more cats than anything else, but there's that. Nicole, I was going to say, I use notes all the time in my phone just because, I may have an idea late at night and I'm certainly not going to get on my computer, but I don't want to forget it. So I'll just jot something down in notes, and then I can have like an idea bank that I can go to and use. Awesome. So, Sally, this is a good question. Is there a best day of the week to post on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter? So first, 3 totally different platforms, and I'm going to say no. Is there is there a specific day that is best for everyone? Not really. It depends on your audience, like who are you talking to and when are they engaging with the platform? And you can actually find out that data by looking at the insights on your Facebook and Instagram accounts. So that's something that I went over in the Social Media Savvy Studio. I did a whole training on like how to read the insights, and it's kind of fascinating. One of the things that I have found is that as time goes on, and social media is more and more popular, like let's say 10 years ago, there was a clear trend that certain days of the week were more popular for me. But as time goes on, I have found that most of them have evened out. For me, it's not so much about the day, it's about the time. So if I were posting something at like 10 p.m. Eastern, I might be catching some of like the West Coast people who are scrolling their phones in the evening, but all my East Coasters are sleeping or getting ready to sleep. So you have to consider the time of day, I think, more than the day itself. That's my advice there. Okay, awesome. Kim says she's restarting everything because she's left it by the wayside. She's going to recommit to using it. Yeah, and Christine also uses notes for potential blog posts. I think that's really smart. Okay, so we've got one more tip. You guys ready? Are you ready? You do not have to do what other people are doing. So this kind of ties in with step number 1, right? Or step number 2. Do the things that make you happy. I know that for me, if I'm spending time on social media and I'm like looking in groups and things like that, or if it's a group that has to do with social media content, or if it's a teacher's group or something like that, and people are celebrating like, oh, I did this thing and like it got all this engagement, and I can start to feel that FOMO set in. And like for a brief second, because I've gotten really good at ditching this, for a brief second, I'm like, oh, Sarah, you really need to do reels. Reels don't make me happy. I think it's cute when other people do them. It's just not my preference. And like I said, it goes back to like recorded video and I do not get along. But so when you find other people doing things and it's successful for them and you're feeling like, oh, I need to do that. I need to do that. And you get all of these like ideas buzzing in your head and you start to feel like, oh, how can I possibly keep up with the Joneses? And you get this like grass is greener on the other thing, whatever. Just consider this your permission that you do not have to do what everybody else is doing. Choose what makes you happy and do that. And that's how you can get rid of the complicated, overwhelm social media market plan, right? Okay, so let's go through all of the, let's do a speedy recap through all of the points that we've gone today. And I've got a bonus tip at the end of this here, so stick with me. If you guys are enjoying this, let me know by hitting give me some little hearts and some little thumbs. That would be great. All right, let's get to it. There are so many things on the internet that teach you how to use social media. You've got like the 365 prompts. You've got all of these like tools and tricks and all of this stuff that comes like flying at you all the time. Here's how you do this. Here's how you do that. Here's how you do this. Blah, right? Here today, we're going to look at 5 tips about how to ditch the complicated social media plan so that you can step out of that space of overwhelm and interact with social media in a way that feels good to you. So here are my 5 tips for this. Here we go. You ready? Tip number 1, consider the ROI of a platform. If you've used a platform for a while and you've really analyzed like, yes, my audience is here. Yes, I'm doing good copy, blah, blah, blah. I'm engaging the way I should, and it's not working well for you, consider this permission to switch to a platform that is working well for you. So if you're not seeing the return on investment, and I'm not talking about money, basically talking about time, if you are not seeing the ROI that you want to see, look for a platform that will give you better ROI. You want to have a platform that allows you to start human being conversations and so that you can make conversions and bring people into your studio, right? Or get people to purchase your course. So that's step number 1. If you're going to do a number 1, give me a number 1 below. Number 2, do things that make you happy. If the thought of doing a live video gives you hives, don't do live video. If you love taking photos and like making them all fancy with Canva and stuff like that, keep doing that. If the idea of having to like do a whole bunch of stuff on Canva has you going like, that just is one more thing that I have to do, don't do it. So choose to do the things that make you happy, because When we do that, our happiness comes through in the posts that we are making. So choose to be happy and engage with social media in a way that makes you feel good. All right, that's step number 2. If you're going to do number 2, give me a number 2 below. Number 3, create or choose systems that work for you. So this could be using some type of like fancy scheduling stuff and all that. Or it could be as simple as saying, I'm going to set aside an hour a week and this is what I'm going to do during that hour. And remember, we talk about the 2 camps. If you want to do everything all at once, right? And kind of batch and curate and do all those things and set it and half forget it because you're still going to be looking at them later on to make sure, like, if people comment, you're reacting. Or if you want to be the person who waits for inspiration to strike, great. Get a system in place for what does that look like? What does it look like when you are working on the fly? Set yourself up for success. I see lots. Oh, I see a 2. I see a couple of 3s here. If you're going to do number 3, give me a 3. Awesome. Excellent. Number 4. Remember the 3 R's: reuse, repurpose, and recycle. Actually, I think the original 3 R's are reduce, reuse, and recycle. I just realized that now. Whatever. Okay, so if you have content that has done really, really well, and as long as it's like you're not repurposing content from Christmas in July, unless you want to celebrate Christmas in July, reuse your content that has lots of engagement, because that content does not go bad. I'll use the phrase that my student gave me once. Music is not bananas, meaning that music does not go bad. Once you learn a song, you can continue to play that song forever. So social media content is not bananas. They don't get, gross and black and then you don't want to use them anymore. They're not going to be mushy and unedible. So content can be reused, right? So reuse your content that has a lot of traction, that has helped you convert people. Reuse that. Excellent. Number 5, and then we're going to get to the bonus. Number 5, you do not have to do what others are doing. Don't get stuck in FOMO and grass is greener mode. If you see people doing a lot of things and you're like, oh man, like my social media sucks because I'm not doing X, Y, or Z. Know that that's not true. If you are choosing to do things that make you happy and you are showing up authentically as your awesome, amazing human being self, then you're going to be okay. And consider this permission that you do not have to do everything else that other people are doing. Okay? All right. Here, yes, they are. I'm so passionate about that section, or that idea, that I had to do it twice. All right, here's the bonus. Are you guys ready? This is a really simple social media plan that you can basically use over and over again. I'm going to see if I can get this right. All right, so I made this graphic a couple of weeks ago and people really, really liked it. So I wanted to bring this onto the broadcast. So this guy here, the Instagram grid, these 9 ideas can be used pretty much over and over again with little tiny tweaks. So we're looking at four different E's, right? We're empowering them, we are educating them, we're entertaining them, and we're engaging with them. And then there's a 5th E down at the bottom. You can see, I don't know if you can see my mouse, probably can't see it. It says elevate, right? So of these 9 posts that you're doing here, and these are all pretty simple social media ideas, of these 9 posts, there is only one where you are making an offer. Because one of the reasons that social media feels complicated to people is they feel like social media is marketing and marketing is advertising. So when I do social media, that means that I have to advertise my services. This is not true. Marketing and advertising, they are similar, but they are not the same thing. Advertising is a form of marketing. So marketing is just putting out into the universe what you do and, celebrating the amazing magic that you can create inside of the studio. It's telling the story of what happens. Marketing is about stories. So some of these ideas here, right? Like asking people what their number 1 challenge is in playing X, Y, and Z. Sharing an empowering quote about music, a quick tip on how to practice, sharing a video of what's happening in your studio, asking people what they're listening to that week, sharing a story about a student journey, demoing how to do something cool, telling a funny story, or sharing a funny student quote. You can use those ideas again and again and again and again, and they will not get stale. Because those ideas, I can point to this, I swear. Those ideas will become different each time you engage with that idea, right? So you can come up with a new piece of content. You can come up with a new idea that you can come up with many different inspirational quotes. So these are many different videos, all of that. So it's super simple, right? It's not 365 prompts for you to use every single day. It is, let's create marketing that shows what you do in the studio and tells the story of the magic that you make, because that is how you're going to get conversions. So I hope that you enjoyed this today. If you enjoyed the tips in this broadcast today, please give me some loves and let me know in the comments here. I always look forward to these magical conversations that we have. So thank you for being here, whether you are live or if you're watching on the replay. Know that I love my replay viewers. So if you're on the replay, give me a hashtag replay and I'll come back and have a convo with you. Thank you so much for being here, everyone. I really appreciate you. My name is Sara Campbell. I am a business strategist, marketing, and mindset coach for music studio owners and online education experts just like you. And you can catch me live here every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern, where we talk about all of those topics. So, until next week, in the meantime, stay savvy and stay you, because there is no teacher in the world that is quite like you. And I think you are pretty dang awesome. We'll see you next time. Thanks.